on the mic. On the mic with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahafi. Hi, welcome ladies and gentlemen to yet another episode of On the Mic with your host, Suleiman Zahafi, and our amazing director, Ibrahim Khamis, behind the control room. Today we have a very interesting guest, an individual all the way from France who has a very amazing adventure story and experience here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The more I talk to him, the more I'm intrigued of his experiences, adventures, and I will say off the road, I don't know how to say it. I just feel like he has more experiences to write for a book. Our esteemed guest, Mr. Florent, all the way from the beautiful country of France. Thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to have you here in the studio.
Thank you, Suleiman, for having me here. It's a great pleasure. And so, yes, I'm Florent Egal. I'm French. And I came to Saudi Arabia more than 12 years ago now, January 2010. And I came here like most expats, first because I was offered a job. And shortly after I arrived, I discovered that this country has much more to offer than we could be told about from outside. And for the last 12 years, I've been exploring this fascinating country and still keep on doing it.
You know, Mr. Florent, when you mention or you say you explored, that means off the road. You meant to small towns, small areas, 4x4ing and everything. Like, tell us more about that.
Well, actually, I've been pretty much everywhere in Saudi Arabia, I can say. From Rub al Khali until Tabuk, Al Jof until Najran, Jizan, Falasan Islands, Al Khufuf, I mean, all parts of Saudi.
You're like a Saudi Wikipedia now. You know it all.
Like actually, I'm writing a website
okay.
About tourism in Saudi Arabia. It's called Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide. I was a bit ahead of the trend because it was back in 2015. A friend of mine, a Saudi friend called Milky Kurdi, launched this idea of having a website about tourism in Saudi Arabia. At that time, I thought there were already plenty of websites that could offer information, but I could see there was not that many. And so I said, yeah, okay, there's room for a website by me. And I'm glad to see that since then we have hundreds and sometimes thousands of visitors every day that are intrigued about tourism in Saudi Arabia, really. And the more people discover about it, the more they realize that this country has a lot to offer.
You know, your story is quite interesting. You know, for someone that came from France and for 12 years, what inspired you to come to Saudi Arabia in the beginning? Like, what inspired you to come and what gave you the initiative or like the excitement to explore more? Because some people, when they go to a new country, they want to see, they want to travel and everything, but you went further and above and beyond, which is quite interesting because you traveled more in Saudi Arabia than actual Saudis live in Saudi Arabia.
As of today, I haven't met, I would say, Saudi national who has traveled within Saudi Arabia as much as I did.
Yeah.
I can say now if I want to visit a new part of Saudi, it's like a territory of 50 kilometers on 50 because 50 kilometers to the east. I've been 50 kilometers to the north, but there's just, now there's just a small square that I haven't seen yet, but now it's really small areas I haven't explored.
I think you covered Saudi Arabia more than Google Maps.
Actually, I'm following Google Maps here to cover. If I would put all my GPS tracks of Saudi, nearly the whole map would be covered because all my tracks covered, most of the country. Well, actually, at the beginning, I remember when I was offered the position by my company to come here, I remember a few people wanted to come. And I guess at the beginning, I was more curious. I was more adventurous. I say, why not? I mean, this can be interesting experience. Let's go for it. And I was lucky Shortly after I arrived, I met some people who were doing some desert trips. And I said, yeah, I want to try. I want to check by myself.
Well, you wanted to try it by yourself, not with them.
No, I want to have I want to have my own idea.
Okay, because that's very ambitious. It's like me, like I go sailing one time, and like I want to be a sailor. I want to be a captain. You know, that's kind of scary, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, first I was part of a trip. I was following the trip leader. I saw how they did, and after a few trips like that, when I was just I would say guest, then I was interested to do my own trips. Because I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go to check this place or this place. So if you want to do your own exploration, then you have to be the one who's gonna take the lead and take on you all the organization and everything. But I have to say, the first trip I did in the desert, so was like a couple of months after I arrived. And I was amazed by the diversity of landscapes. There are two things that really, three things, I would say, three things that really struck me when I arrived in Saudi and when I started to explore. First of all, it's the diversity of landscape. It's the fact and how beautiful the desert can be. Because before coming here, you just imagine the desert be sand, okay, big dunes, small dunes, average dunes, and that's it. No, there's much, much more than that. You have landscapes, of course, with sand dunes, but you have with mountains, with rocks of different colors, of different shapes, rocks and mountains and dunes mixing together. That creates absolutely amazing landscapes. Second thing that really struck me is the richness of the history, and ancient history in particular. The first year I started to do desert trips, I visited the site and I saw some ancient carvings. Wow.
Ancient carvings.
Carvings, okay. Yeah, with inscriptions, carvings of animals, of humans that look quite old. I was really intrigued and really fascinated to find that in the middle of the desert, you enter a small valley, okay, there's a small water point, and suddenly you are surrounded by hundreds of carvings, some of them of buffaloes that no longer exist in this place, and you say, oh, that might be quite old. And I discovered you have some areas like that in Saudi, like Ha'il province, a bit in Tabuk, or the south, Najran, parts of Asir, where you have ancient carvings over dozens and hundreds of kilometers in the mountains.
Yeah.
It's literally, the desert is a history book which is open, and you just have to read on the rocks, and you have a lot of stories and history which is written there. And I found really that really fascinating, and I started to get to know more and more, to read about those carvings, to meet with specialists, because some people are starting to studying that. Now you have two sites that are listed as UNESCO World Heritage, Juba and Shuemis. So I think it was back in 2015. Those two sites were listed as UNESCO World Heritage for the richness and the testimony of green Arabia and the changes of climate, because in the past the Arabian Peninsula used to have different climates.
Yeah.
There were some periods with much more humid, and if you go to Juba and Shuemis, then you see those carvings of animals that no longer exist, and you see some ancient cultures with a very specific style, which is totally unexpected. But the Saudi desert, is very rich. As of today, I don't think that Saudi Arabia is recognized as the richest country in the world in terms of rock art, but in my opinion, it's just a matter of time. Sooner or later, it will be recognized as the richest country in the world with regard to rock art.
Is it that diverse, the geographical area of Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, I mean, you have specific rock art as in Ha'il province. You have a specific in the south, specific one in the south, and many more depending on the period. You can, on the same site, you will have 2-3 different styles from the different periods. So I've seen so much. I've organized so many trips where to explore and to find rock art that I came to the point of having a kind of expertise. I'm starting to publish. I published an article last year in a French magazine about archaeology, about the specific style of Juba, for example. And what is also fascinating is you find a lot of writings, a lot of inscriptions in the desert.
And a lot of the adventures, do you have a website or something that you put it on? You mentioned a website. Is it just to travel where you've been, or also pictures and notes?
So I want people to be aware of what can be seen in Saudi Arabia, and I want to help them to find information because it's starting more and more. But 7 years ago, when I started the website, there was little information available, and I want to help them to guide them in this huge country, which is as large as Western Europe. And so I've created this website with a post about each place that I found interesting, and I keep on filling it, adding more posts every time I have a bit of free time. And this website is supposed to help you have an interactive map where you can choose a province, or you can choose a theme. Do you want to see something
So
to the
you
sea?
made a categories of
Yeah,
them, like-
categories,
okay.
sea, history, culture, these things. And so if you click on that, you see on the map the post and the locations that are linked to this category will be highlighted.
What's the website called?
Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide.
Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide. Okay.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to check it out. And I'm sure the listeners at home, because, I've had many guests, many individuals, they talk about Saudi Arabia, their adventures and anything, but yours is more documented, more category, a major category for it, how you made it and everything. You mentioned you were surprised by the rock formation and everything. What else surprised you coming to Kingdom?
Also the variety of climates. Well, the first time I went to the southwest and I went to Abha, Asir province, Al-Baha, when I had a hailstorm 31st of July.
Hailstorm?
Yes, once.
In Baha?
It was close to Al-Baha, yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't expect to have this the diversity of landscapes and of climates also, that there could be snow in Saudi Arabia. I nearly saw the snow once. Once I was winter 2018, I was in Jebel Al-Luz in Tabuk province.
Wow.
And few hours after we left the place, it was already very cold and big clouds. And few hours after we left the place, I saw pictures on the internet of the same place we were, and there was some snow. So that's still one of my goals. I want to see snow in Saudi Arabia, because I know in Jebel Al-Luz it happens nearly every year. In Abha, towards Jebel Sauda, Jebel Ferwa, Jebel Nitwa, you can have.
Well, you
some
have
snow.
this year, winter's coming.
Yeah, I hope that every winter I say, okay, this time I will make it. So still on my to-do list. And one of the things also which is amazing when you travel like that in the desert, because as you said, I'm not just staying on road. I'm going deep into the desert. I've been spent a full week in Rub Al Khali.
Doesn't that scare you, or no? Or you love it?
I love it.
Okay, for me, that if I'm in the middle of nowhere with someone or alone and I hear like sounds or the wind or anything, I get a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I need a night light, as they say.
I like the quietness. It's so peaceful, and the feeling of remoteness as something, yeah, that is quite an experience. You are not solicited by anything, so you're being alone with yourself.
Yeah.
And in a huge environment with these huge dunes when you're in Al Khali, or vast extent of dunes, and you feel small, you feel you're just a little thing, and this is a nice feeling to have some time to for a bit of introversion and peace of mind. This is something I really like. Of course, when you do such trips, it has to be prepared properly.
What kind of preparation do you do? Like, I'm sure there's like, you have to have a big checklist. I don't know what kind of vehicle you have or anything, but it's a lot of things you need, because if you miss one thing, even for example, my friends, they went camping and one of them forgot rice. Can you imagine? They went camping, they forgot something simple. So what do you usually bring?
Well, I have a checklist when I do a trip that's going to last several days, especially. So, I mean, you need to check a lot of things. First of all, we always go as a group. We always go with good cars. You cannot go with cars that are not capable enough for the desert. You always go with good equipment for your car. for camping and everything. And there's always, if I do a week-long trip, the ones I enjoy the most, there's always like something like a full day at least on the maps, checking places, checking the tracks that I can see, checking the place we might camp, what will be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and before leaving, I upload in my GPS a lot of planning that I've done. So this is key, of course.
I cannot imagine. It's stressful for me to plan just going like for a trip to my friends to Dammam or anywhere else, but to plan to go in the middle of the desert, it's. I always loved the idea of camping. I've camped before. I went to a desert and hung out with friends, campsites and stuff like that. But you literally became like, what's the guy's name on National Geographic? The Bear Grylls.
The Bear Grylls.
You know what I mean? Or Grill. I forgot what the guy's name. He goes camping. He goes in the middle of anywhere like that. And once I see that, it inspires me to do that. But for me, it's like I don't have the confidence of doing that alone.
Okay, so you're welcome to join one of my trips, and you can be sure I'll make everything to ensure that it's safe and enjoyable.
No, I know it's safe,
You're
but
welcome anytime.
it's like, you know, the idea is like going camping in the desert or hiking or anything like that. I had many individuals tell us a story. One thing that surprised me, they said, you do know that there's like rivers and like lakes in Middle East, and especially in Saudi Arabia, and forests. They said they were surprised when they explained to someone, like, you know, they have a lot of different climates, like you were mentioned, and forest in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, people don't expect that. You know, they have beautiful lakes, they have beautiful islands, they have beautiful sea, just like in the western part of it. I forgot what's the area called. They feel like it's just like in Bora Bora or anywhere else.
Farazan Islands.
No, it's like northwest near the Red Sea. They said it's blue, blue. Blue water,
Offshore
clear.
Jeddah, offshore Yambo. I'm also a diver. And
Amluj,
Amluj, yeah,
They
Amluj,
said-
Al Wedge,
beautiful water, crystal clear.
crystal clear. Yeah, I mean the whole shore. Last year I was in Yambo with some friends, and off the coast of Yambo, you've got some beautiful sandbanks, and even if you're in the middle of the sea, there's just 1 meter of water, and then you can touch the white sand. It's locals call it the swimming pool, because you see, you feel really like in the swimming pool, but you are in the middle of the Red Sea. And this is, I mean, the diving in the Red Sea is absolutely amazing. One of the best dives were around Farazan Islands.
For diving, the best.
Yeah, diving, scuba diving. Farazan Islands was quite amazing in terms of amount of fish. So much fish, and so colorful and quite amazing. Even it's just 5 meters of water, it's already like, wow, fireworks of colors of fish and corals. And also I dove offshore of Alith, very clear water, amazing corals over there as well. Jeddah, of course, and I did also offshore of Yambo, in some reefs, but far offshore. We did a liveaboard, so we slept on the boat because it was far away from the shore. And I mean, you could see like 30, 40 meters, so the water is clear, so you feel like floating in the air, not in the
You're
water.
literally living life the right way.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much here to enjoy. And something I have to say, I forgot to say, but when you're like that in the middle of the desert, as I've been many times, and you pass by a small village to refill at the gas station, you will always meet some locals that will come to you, that will welcome you, offer the coffee and tea, and even if you want to stay to have a meal, and even to stay overnight. So this that was also, I will not say a surprise, but whether a confirmation of something you can hear is that the Bedouins are very welcoming and are very
Hospitable.
Are very hospitable, and they are. Often say, if I had accepted all the invitations for coffee and tea, I could not have visited the country, because it was literally every second day. So,
So you're never hungry.
yeah, no, you cannot die for thirst.
But the caffeine overload would have got you.
I mean, I like the Arabic
Arabic,
coffee with the dates is really
amazing.
good. Yeah, it's delicious.
I know what you mean. A lot of people that come to Saudi Arabia, they're like, everywhere you go, they offer coffee dates, traditional meals and everything. And some of them, they enjoy it. Like from different regions, they have different way of doing it. He says, always interested. I'm not gonna mention the name, but usually people go get their coffee from a international brand. But once they come to Saudi Arabia, to the Middle East, and they try the Arabic coffee, they cannot go back. They enjoy it because each one is unique in its own taste, the way it's prepared and everything. So they said, I always love it. It's always like a different taste every time, and yeah, it's amazing.
And when you enjoy it in the middle of the desert, in a tent, with local Bedouins that tell you stories about the place, it's even better.
Indeed. One thing surprised me. You were mentioning something about diving and everything like that. A lot of people don't realize the beauty of the ocean we have here on both sides of the kingdom. The ocean is beautiful. You know the old expression. I forgot who said it. Ernest Hemingway. He said, "When in doubt, return to nature." I'm not sure if it's him or not, but it was a famous quote. When in doubt, return to nature. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how you're always. I'm looking at you relaxed and everything, living life, and all the individuals that I know, they love camping, outdoors, and everything. I asked them, "What do you love the most?" They said, "I love the adventure. I love the fresh air, and I love the simplicity of nature." Is that how you feel when you go to nature? And
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and when you, what is fascinating when you're in the desert is like it's the freedom, because since it's an empty space, and there are quite some areas you can go with your car. It's just like you enter a new area. It's beautiful. Oh, okay, I want to go north. Let's go north. I want to go south. Oh, it's beautiful over there. Let's check up there. Oh, this looks beautiful around this rock. Let's go. You're totally free to go wherever you want. And then it's often when recently I went even during summer, during Hajj holidays. I was up in Tabuk province,
Okay.
and I went to one of the last places I had not seen, but now I've ticked the box, which is Arlakan, close to the Jordanian border.
okay,
And it was literally every second kilometer we stopped to take pictures, so it's
Wow.
beautiful. And yeah, we had this feeling. I mean, we could see the beautiful landscape and say, okay, then we'll go there, and then there, and then there. And with our 4x4, we could make it quite easily and safely. And this, you feel so humbled by the beautiful nature around you, and sometimes so free because you can move here and there. I mean, if I would like to do that in France, you would have vegetation, you would have fences, you would have. It's not possible to move so freely like that. And that's one of the things also I enjoy particularly here in Saudi Arabia when you go out in the desert, is this feeling of freedom, freedom of movement. Anything that you want, you have planned in the map. I plan I want to go there, and there, and then I go, and when I'm on site, I can go right and left, no problem.
I always want to ask individuals that travel so much, what inspired you to beginning to travel? Was there something that inspired you, a moment or an experience for you to really love the inspiration? Because you've never been to Saudi Arabia till 12 years ago. So what was that moment of inspiration?
My first trip.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the first time I went out, I was just a passenger. It was the usual trip that expats do from Riyadh, which is edge of the world. Then I realized, okay, there's something to explore here. And then the second trip, when I was a driver, and we did a trip far from Riyadh, 2 nights camping.
Wow.
So in quite remote places. And I was really amazed by the landscapes. I say, okay, now I found
Your favorite hobby now?
yeah, I like to say that when I arrived, I mean, I noticed that I had 2 options to occupy my free time. Either spend all my money in Dubai or enjoy the adventure in the Saudi desert. And quite quickly, I made my decision, and I would spend most of my time, my free time, exploring the desert. And to me, the experience is much more authentic, much more, I would say, nearly spiritual, much more deep and fruitful.
So that's like your therapy, because some people say they love it. That's where they feel they're very relaxed and they're at harmony, as they say.
Exactly. I like to say that in the desert I sleep like a baby. It's
I've noticed that. What is that about? Like every time I go sleep in the night or a camp, I only sleep, even if I'm very exhausted. lacking of sleep and everything, I sleep for like 5 hours, 6 hours maximum. I wake up refreshed. Why is that so?
I mean, as you say, it's like a therapy, back to nature. So your body enjoys it and takes the most of this peace that you can enjoy in the desert. And I have this same feeling. I mean, whenever I go to the desert, first of all, I sleep outside. I don't sleep in a tent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a
Aren't
cot
you
bed.
scared something bites you or like gets or sleeps next to you?
Well, if you're on a camping bed, no cot bed, it's fine.
Okay.
And you will not have insects or bad things coming to you. And I mean, it's even safer because if you have a tent, maybe a scorpion or
Go
a
inside.
snake will go underneath because they find they will seek refuge underneath the tent, which you don't want. So it's actually safer to sleep just on a cot bed outside.
Did you learn that from experience, like when a scorpion or snake got you, or no?
I know people who
Told you that.
witnessed that.
Okay.
They saw when they woke up a scorpion underneath the tent. So yeah, no, this is not something you want to experience. So if you just sleep outside on your cot bed, and I mean just having a starry night above you as a ceiling is so peaceful and helps so much to sleep.
You know, the first night or the first time I saw the Milky Way was in Saudi Arabia, 2 hours north of Riyadh. I never really imagined that, and that kind of opened my eyes to the possibility of the beauty of the nature here. And I think you see that regularly.
Yeah.
That's your nightlight. That's your actual stars. You know.
Exactly. And when you're in the desert and there's no wind, there's no moon, then you can have amazing starriness. I have some friends who are going often to the desert, but especially to take pictures, to look with their telescopes and to take pictures of the stars, the galaxies, and so on. And yeah, I mean, around Riyadh, it's quite. When you go to the desert and you find a place without light, it's great conditions.
Wow. You know, I think everyone has to definitely remind us the website again.
Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide.
Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide.com.
.com.
There you go. Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide. You definitely have to check that out. Of course, you're talking about adventures and everything. I'm sure you enjoyed the food, the different kind of food. What was your favorite one?
Kebsa, as easy as that, and all types of kebsa is really it's a great experience, and for me that's one of the things that I found funny when I ride with some of my Saudi colleagues. Sometimes at the end of the week, the last day, would order kebsa, sit on the ground, and eat the traditional way. And I found that absolutely delicious. So, yeah, I really like the taste, and especially when it's cooked under the ground. I've been also to some desert camp with some Saudi friends and saw how they cook the meat under the ground with also the rice at the bottom. And so that's really good. I have a good souvenir also, good memory with kebsa with fish in the South Thousand Islands. Fish kebsa is amazing. The fish that they had in Thousand Islands was absolutely amazing. It was really delicious. And so yeah, the coffee and tea, and I like the. Also, the sweets you can have. Not remember all the names.
We have a sweet tooth here.
Yeah. Definitely. No, yeah. I mean, this is. I like this kind of food that is cooked slowly, and the way food is cooked.
Better taste to it.
Exactly, when it's juicy and juicy.
I don't think you can stay skinny in Saudi Arabia.
That's the issue with the kebsa. You don't realize the quantity of food you eat. That's what is a bit. It's a bit dangerous because you eat. Okay, you have done a hole in the rice. You just push a bit the rice around, and it feels you haven't eaten anything.
It's like,
okay, I can take some
I feel
more.
like a sand castle. You don't know how big the hole is, but then you just keep bringing more rice. Like, I think it's okay. We're recovering.
You didn't eat that much. You don't count the plates.
You know, it's my friend. He was like, you know, I always try to start on a diet, but when I see kebsa or delicious food, I tell myself I'm gonna have little. I'm gonna have self-control. Once I start eating, and at the end, he was like, my self-control starts tomorrow.
I'll be on diet, but I'll start tomorrow.
Indeed. For you, when the individuals like from France, you're from, originally from France, what's a common question they ask you about Saudi Arabia? I'm sure they have a misconception or they don't know about Saudi Arabia. What's a common question and what's your common response?
I mean, people, let's say that they don't know much about the country. So they ask me how life is. I have to say that things are changing, because there was a lot of publicity that was made about now tourism in Saudi Arabia, about all the changes that happen here. So now people start to change their mind about or their view about the country. But yeah, when the first years I was there and coming back, when I told people that I live in Saudi Arabia, that I was coming back from Saudi Arabia, they were looking at me as if I was coming back from another planet, and which made me laugh, because at the end of the day, life, if I stayed here for 12 years, it means that I enjoyed my life here, and there was nothing wrong with living
That's your second
here,
home now.
and exactly. And now, if I look back, I spent more than a fourth of my life in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
So it starts to count. Yeah, it starts being a bit my second home. Exactly.
I feel like literally you explored everything, so it's definitely your second home.
Exactly. And I still want to explore. There are still few parts I want to check. Even some places I've already been, and I still want to go back. So there are
What is the remaining? Because you were showing me before the show of all the places you've been to, from the website. Remind us of the website again so people can.
Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide.com.
Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide.com. You mentioned so many places you've seen. You put you documented very well. What was the remaining places that you want to visit that you haven't?
Okay, there are some places in Jizan province. Still want to check. Part of Central Arabia, but like really like deep in the desert, Al Subai Desert, Aruk Al Subai. I passed by, but did not really explore it in depth. So that's a place I want to check. Northern Borders Province. I passed by shortly, but here as well, I would like to see a bit more of those places, and a bit of the desert in Al Juf. So places like along the Jordanian border, there around Kilwa, Al Juf, and northern border, Ar, Rafah, Linna, those places north of Saudi, and a bit in the south. Jizan I've been several times, but there are still places I would like to check. And yeah, it's by desert in the center of Arabia. And honestly, once I've done that, I think I've done nearly all of it.
It seems like words cannot describe it, so they have to definitely check your website.
Feel free, and feel free also to ask questions about it, because sometimes I have people posting questions about places, and I'm happy to guide them.
How can they reach out to you? Which social media?
I have also on Instagram. I've called it Florent of Arabia.
Florence of Arabia. Okay, that's very
Florent
creative.
of Arabia,
Florent.
like Lawrence of Arabia.
Florent of Arabia.
Florent of Arabia. Have also, so this we have for Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide. We also have a Facebook page and Instagram also. So yeah, you can reach me on those social media. On the website itself, you can post questions at the bottom of each post. So yeah, people feel free if you have questions about the country, advices. If you want me to help you to discover this wonderful country, I'm more than happy to do so.
You know, it's an amazing experience. We're very honored and excited for you to join us here in the studio.
My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Florent Gal. Any final words or message you would like to tell our amazing listeners joining us?
Well, to everyone, be curious about Saudi Arabia. There's a lot to discover here. And it's until a few years ago, when I was telling people that I'm spending my holidays in Saudi Arabia, people thought that I was crazy. And now they realize that it's worth to spend your holidays in this country. And even in summer, you have interesting places and not too hot places where you can go. So what can I say more? Just go to the website, pick up the place that sounds good to you, and enjoy it.
And remind us of the website again.
Saudi Arabia tourismguide.com.
There you go, Saudi Arabia tourismguide.com, ladies and gentlemen. Our amazing guest here in the studio, Florent Agal, all the way from France. We're very excited and honored to have you here, especially your adventures is inspiring. Not so much for me to go alone in the middle of the desert, but inspiring me to be more adventurous, as I say.
You're welcome anytime to join an adventure.
Absolute
It's a pleasure to have you.
You know, I think this is an inspiration for everyone that comes to a kingdom, whether Saudi or expats living here in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Explore your backyard. You know, explore it and see. You'll be surprised. You'll be the adventures, the memories you create. 12 years you've been here. It seems like you love it so much.
And I hope I will stay more years to explore even more.
There you go. You know, the love of passion, of adventures and anything, Florent definitely enjoyed. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Florent Agal, all the way from France, joining us here in the studio for the program On the Mic with myself, Salman Zahafi, and our amazing director, Mr. Ibrahim Khamis, behind the control room. And yeah, absolute pleasure, Mr. Florent. Words can I describe it? We're definitely going to check the website, and we want to say one last time before we conclude.
So the website is called Saudi Arabia Tourism Guide, and if you want the link, SaudiArabiaTourismGuide.com.
There you go. The one and only Mr. Florent. And ladies and gentlemen, to further episodes, more adventures, and more stories about living here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the show On the Mic. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On the Mic. On the Mic with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahafi.